here's Mayuri back with a new tutorial, that is Python range function. So my dear friends, let's Python range function. My dear friends, it is necessary to discuss an range function before discussing the control flow statements and loops. If you look example of a for loop of Python, you will see that range function is used most of the time. It makes an impact that the range function is mandatory part of a loop, but it is not like that. To talk in a simple word, the range function returns a sequence of numbers starting from 0 by default and increment by 1, that is by default, and stop before a specified number. If you look at the syntax, you will clear that what exactly this range function works, how exactly it works. Now here is the syntax, that is range in the parentheses start, stop and stay. Now start, which is optional, an integer number specifying at which position to start. By default it starts with 0. That means the start parameter is optional and it specifies from where to start. If you don't specify start, by default it will start from 0. Then stop, which is a required parameter, an integer number specifying at what position to stop. That means it will stop from the start to the stop. That means whatever the number you specify at the stop, till there it will stop, but not including that number. Suppose I taken the start number as 1 and stop number at 6, then it will print from 1 to 5, but it will not include 6. Then step, which is also optional, an integer number specifying the incrementation. By default it is 1. That means whatever it is going to increment, it will be included in step. Suppose I wanted to increment the range from by 2, then I will specify step by 2. By default, if you don't specify, it will increment by 1. In this, 2 parameters are optional while 1 is required, which is stop. Here I have taken an example that x is equal to range 6, as the required parameter is stop, as here I given x is equal to range 6. That means whatever the x that is going to in an variable, that is in the for loop. Now here range I have taken 6. That means it will by default start from 0 and till the 5, which will not include 6, and it will print from 0 to 5 one by one, as I have included a print n. Okay, this is what the syntax and meaning of each parameter. So my dear friends, now let's have a practical session where you will clear all the doubts. So let's have a watch on it.